I hope you are having a lovely day. Welcome, welcome. So, we are going to be talking about healing. I want us to continue from the other day. We talked a little bit about healing, and I wanted just to answer some of your questions that you've been sending me after that video. So, we're going to be doing that. So, don't worry, I've got two devices. I've got one there, Instagram, and I've got Facebook and YouTube here, and everybody else. So, don't worry if you see me looking two places. It's just that I need to make sure that I'm still visible both sides. So I am going to talk about, okay, for Instagram viewers, I am talking about healing. We are expanding on the topic that we were talking about last week. So I wanted to answer a few questions around healing emotions with plant medicine. So last week, we talked about how the spiritual side of life needs to heal, but healing the spiritual side is quicker and easier. And most of the times, you don't actually have to do it yourself. You will go to somebody who can actually help you with that. And their job in the planet, they came to do that. So they can help you with that. But that is not the end of the story. You have a chunk of work that you have to do for yourself, which in this case is the emotional and mental work. So, emotional work is all about the things that you have passed through, that have hurt you, that have disturbed you in life, that have caused you pain, that you haven't let go, that you haven't understood, that you haven't gotten to understand why they happened to you. So it's still like that thing of, if this didn't happen, I'll be okay. If I got to have greater, nicer parents, I wouldn't have been here. If I got to marry somebody that is amazing, I wouldn't be here. If, all these things that you don't understand why they happened, but they happened and they sort of left a wound with you. So that is the thing you need to heal. And then, of course, the thoughts, the mindset, the beliefs, and all that, and all that. Specifically, when it comes to money, it's all about those beliefs. And of course, the emotional work, and of course, the spiritual work. Okay, so plant medicine is one way. Specifically, there are different types of plant medicines all over the world. Almost all cultures have them. And I think the people in the southern of America, they did a great job by going and understanding their plant medicine so well. And they learned how to use them so well. And they were able to give it to the whole world to heal with them, which is, in this case, I have learned ayahuasca and San Pedro. Of course, there are other ones, but those are just the two that I have learned to understand very well. And I used them, and they did amazing for me. So now, for a very long time, I never was connected to medicine. I couldn't even take a pill, like, medicine from the doctor, like medical stuff. I couldn't take medicine. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. And again, I couldn't take traditional medicine. I just couldn't. It didn't. I couldn't get myself to using traditional medicine. I couldn't get myself to using even just a pill from the doctor. Even when I had depression, I couldn't take those pills. I just can't. Even today, when I have to go and get my B12 and all this and all that, I take a drip. Just because I wanted to get into my bloodstream. I don't want to take it with my mouth. I wanted to get into my bloodstream and do a lot of stuff quicker, because of course a drip is gonna be quicker than a pill. And yeah, I don't have to take it for so long. So, but I then, now I understand, because I've been walking the spiritual journey. I understood. When I finally understood, of course, found out this information from my soul contract, that I needed to learn that water is much more of a healer than medicine. So, like, I'm in my depression, I healed it with water. I take people almost every Sunday to water. And I've healed people's depression, I've healed people's heartaches, I've healed people's money, I've healed people's physical symptoms. One time there's a lady who came, she was scratching her body, her whole entire body had scars everywhere. And guess what? I healed her with the same water that I heal everything else with. But I couldn't have ever understood the power. That is where my healing, energy comes from. It comes from the water. So when a person is sick, and I can heal them energetically, but when it's something more serious, I have to take them to water. And of course, like that lady, she went once, and last time she was at the retreat, and she was saying, look at my skin, it looks like a baby. What did you do to me? And I was like, I wish I can tell you, because definitely the fact that I heal everything with water is not scientifically, like, it doesn't make sense. Let us not even talk about it, because me myself, I have no idea. I don't want to tell you. It's not that deep. I have no idea why and what happens. So I just have to take you there. That's all. I mean, really, guys, I'm really telling you the truth. I have no idea what happens. So don't ask me. I am probably one day myself still going to find out why. Okay, anyway, now I'm telling you why I couldn't use medicine, because I needed to learn that I needed to heal myself and others with water. That was the reason why I couldn't be able to use medicine for anything. Okay, so once then I had learned to use this water, and of course, like I'm saying, it's not scientifically. Do not question me on it. Like, I know there are people who are amazing that comes to me, that are doctors, that I've got PhDs, and they ask me questions about how do you heal people, and I'm just like, you know what? I have no idea. I don't want to lie to you. Don't question me. I do not know. So, yes, let's just let it be. Because I had learned to let it be. At this point, I just let it be, really. Now, I couldn't then, of course, use medicine for that reason, that I needed to learn all this kind of stuff. Now that I know, now that I'm using it, then I then knew which medicine I am supposed to use, which is then the ayahuasca. And well, for now, you know what? At this point, I've learned to understand that all these things on a daily basis, one more thing gets added, one more thing gets added. I have, I'm fine with that. Whatever happens tomorrow, I'm good, I'm ready, let's do this. So now, the medicines that I have now allowed to use, let me say that I'm allowed to use, because I still don't like most medicine. Like, I still can't connect with most medicine, but these two, they totally make sense to me right now. So now, what these medicines are made for, just like in Panado, there are so many chemicals that are mixed up in Panado. Amazing people did the studies and see that this plant and this plant and this plant, if we mix it together, will take pain away quickly, because it will do this and do this in the bloodstream that connects with the nervous system, and the pain will subside. Of course, it doesn't heal the pain, but at least these medicines will make the pain stop for some time. So, of course, all medicine has a reason and a purpose why they are there. And if you're using them for that purpose, then you win. So, as much as even weed can be used for other things, I still can't do that. I still can't use it. Don't know if one day it will happen or not. Well, in a way, it's none of my business at this point. I don't have to detect what I use or not. I don't really have to. Then it doesn't bother me anymore. So now, this ayahuasca, it is for the purpose, most of all, to clear anxiety and depression. Fear, anxiety, depression. Now, I'll tell you, somebody who comes through to the ayahuasca that I do, because normally, when we, the facilitators, are going to be administering the medicine, we have to put enough energy of an intention for a specific purpose, so that when you give it to the people, that is what you want to happen. So all ayahuascas are different, all people who give it are different, all have different intentions. So it is like you program the medicine before you give the person for it to do that specific thing that you have sent it to do. So just like when you're bewitching people, when you're bewitching a person, you can take anything and bewitch a person. It's not about what you are bewitching them with. It is the message you send with what that you are doing. So even with ayahuasca, when I give a person ayahuasca, everybody, I give them a different dose according to their energy, according to what their guides are saying. I must give them and why they are there for that time, because every other ayahuasca ceremony is totally different. And me myself, I've had so many, but still, when I have an ayahuasca, taking an ayahuasca medicine in a sacred ceremony, I experience all the time different things, depending on what is currently the problem in my life at that time and what is it that I need to heal at that time. So then, this plant, one of the most important things about it is that it helps with anxiety and depression. So when I give to a person, normally, depending with how the person has been taught to give the medicine, to administer the medicine, normally you'll find that a person will spike on the anxiety and then they will come down towards the end of the ceremony. So it will take about 3 hours and then it will come back down. For me, I have found a formula that a person that has high anxiety, when they take the medicine, in the next 20 minutes, they feel this total calmness. And that is the purpose, because I know a lot of people that come to me are people who are supposed to be leaders, are people who are supposed to go out there and do great things. And most of it, they have fear and they have anxiety around the things that God said they must do. They are scared of moving forward. They are scared of doing those things. So one thing that I send their medicine to do is to take out that anxiety. So a lot of people will tell you, I started to feel calm. And some people say, like, but this medicine is not working. And I'm like, oh God. Now that you don't have anxiety, there's no drama in your life. 2 hours later in the medicine, you think the medicine is not working. You have no idea how many times during a ceremony. And my ceremonies have to take so long because people are like, it's not working, boss. I am just feeling this calm. It is not working. Oh, well, you know what? It's fine. You will tell me at 4 hours if it's still not working. Because then after the calm, which is the one thing that is so important, the peace, the quietness, the stillness within you, the you knowing that you are okay, there's nothing wrong with you. Then after that, then again, you will start to experience the answers to the questions that you've got. And that is when I say to people, you need to work with the medicine. This medicine is expensive. You need to work with the medicine. Do not let the medicine just go. Make sure that you fight and ask all the questions you need and get the answers, because getting the medicine in your system, it allows you to stop being you in the ego space, but being you in your higher self. So in your higher self, you really don't care what people think, but you care about the truth of what needs to happen to you. So all of a sudden, now you are able to get the answers to the questions that you wouldn't have taken if you were in the sober state of your fear. So all of a sudden, the things that you thought, oh no, this, I can't live like this, I can't have this, I can't make this happen. All of a sudden, because now that fear and the anxiety has stopped, then now you are able to say, oh, by the way, why didn't I think that I can't do this? No, actually, I am ready for this. Actually, I can make this happen. Actually, this is okay for me to happen. So you then get into a higher self state where you can talk to God. God is you in your highest form. We all know that right by now, right? That God is us in the highest form. So you get to negotiate with the higher power that is in you about the things that are troubling you at your ego state. But then now, because the ego is no longer there, because ego thrives on your fear and on your anxiety, and then, that's why then there's the depression and all these things. But once that is no longer there, you don't fear anything. So what? I can do anything. I can be single. I can be married. I can have I can be I can earn this much. I can start this. I can make that happen. I can run a business like this. So now you are able to do exactly what you were brought here to do, because there is no longer anxiety and fear. So that is the ayahuasca. It is okay. So the other important thing about ayahuasca is that it is your feminine side. It talks more like a mother, like a grandmother. It affirms you. It gives you answers to the questions that nobody will ever understand you when you're asking them. And sometimes people judge us when we do things that don't look okay to them. But when you are in the medicine, you are able to ask those questions to say, by the way, this and this, why did it happen? Okay, I need to understand, where do I stand with this? So, like I was saying, when we're doing the soul contracts give you the story of where you are. And of course, the soul contracts that we've been doing now for the relationships, because at this point in time in the collective, a lot of people are going through so much relationship traumas. The relationships now are no longer just like, oh, you get married to somebody and you have babies and what. No, now the relationships are in another level. The relationships are here to heal things that you can never be able to touch with anything in your life. So, but then they leave sort of big wounds. So when we open the contract, then you get to understand, oh, this relationship, that is why it is here. Maybe this one, that is why it finished. Maybe this one. So we look at current contracts that are open in terms of your relationship. We look at future contracts, soulmates and all the stuff. And then we look at past contracts that have needed to end, and if you've ended them, and if you've gotten a lesson from them, and all this stuff. So when you are also in the medicine, you are able to file things correctly, put things into the right corners, and make sure that now you are understanding why it is important that everything happens when it happens. But then the worst thing that can happen is that you do not understand that something had to happen, and then now you're holding on to pain that is now blocking you from going forward. You keep now rounding the same mountain. You were supposed to have one partner that is crazy. Now you have five. You are counting, even this one was crazy, even this one was. No, you were supposed to do this thing once off, and the contract was supposed to have been closed when you finish that round. No, you didn't understand, so you keep coming back. It's like now you keep now you were supposed to suffer once, now you're suffering 5 times for something that you should have long finished and gone ahead with your life and found the right partner. Now you are keep repeating the same thing because you don't understand why it had to happen. So then the other people just show up to make sure that you understand, and make sure that you understand, and you just don't, and you're not understanding, you're not getting it. Then that is why then when I went and learned astrology, I wanted answers. I was like, when we are about to have a rainy season, Pedro is more about the father energy is about doing